Yes, people, you don't know. You're back with your boy, the real Gunner Lee. And if you're checking in for the first time, you don't know. This is where we keep it all things Arsenal. I don't know. And if you guys here, just check out the video, see if you like the vibes, share, like, comment. And yeah, let's get into it. If you guys know what the video is about, or if you're new to the channel, I keep it all things Arsenal, as I said before, and we're just gonna get into the off season of Arsenal. The transfer window is open. Even though if you're an Arsenal fan, you wouldn't really know by the fact that we have zero business done right now. We're linked to everybody and them grandmother, but still no deal is being done. We still don't have any links to any right backs, any backup left backs, any creative attacking midfielders, center midfielders. So, it's the old status quo for Arsenal, people. There's not that much to laugh about or be happy about, but it's still early in the transfer window, and right now I just gonna give you guys a gist of what's been going on, what the rumor report is, and how I feel about the situation, and what Arsenal need to do, in this transfer window to get to that next level. And the next level is, get back to that top four, get back to Europa League. We really have fallen in the last few years, and we're a big club. We're a big club, and that never ever gonna change. So we need to get back to where we're supposed to be, and hopefully we can do it with this team, this manager. So that's what it's looking like right now. So in terms of the whole transfer window, we have actually been heavily linked to the likes of Lakanga, Basuma, um, and the biggest, most publicized signing so far is actually a Ben White deal. And Ben White is a centre back, central defender from Bayern, the same team as Basuma, the centre defensive midfielder that we've been linked to for almost like a year and a half at this point. But for whichever reason, it seems as if the exiting of Mustafi, David Luiz, and the probable transfer of Rob Holding as well as Callum Chambers could be the main reason why Arsenal is trying to go for a Ben White. Ben White is, a homegrown player, and he does know in terms of the registration and stuff like that, we need to register a certain amount of English players. And so Ben White would kind of, be killing, two birds with one stone kind of thing. But so me, I don't like to just look at things just the way it is. And, although it's going for a defender or a centre back, and it's not necessarily what we want. It's also talk around that this guy could be used as a CDM or a right back, but that's such an Arsenal thing for, need a centre defensive midfielder, need a right back, and get and pay 50 million, which is the stated price for this guy, Ben White, and then use him in, not his like favored position. So for me, it does seem like a very weird transfer. It's a weird rumor, but it does seem valid. A lot of journalists, very reputable journalists who have brought who broken like signings of like Partey and etc. to Arsenal. A lot of them are saying that there is some real information, real steam behind this Ben White deal, and it seems that we have put in at least one bid so far. So this could be happening. Ben White could be coming to Arsenal and could be one of our first deals so far this season. And for me, I just found it very interesting, like this whole Ben White scenario. And as I said before, Rob Holding. So what I really wanted to do, just look at a side by side comparison between Rob and Ben White. And when you look at it, I think Ben White played about the same amount of games as Rob. But Rob is, if you look at the stats wise, and even if you look at the game, Rob Holding is really, really good in the air in terms of duels won in the air, heady clearances, etc. There is no comparison. Rob Holding is heads and toes over Ben White. The thing they've gotten the same amount of clean sheets, which is interesting because Rob Holding has had more wins in a better Arsenal team than in Ben White's team. But Ben White, is in terms of like tackle success. I think his tackle success is actually a little bit success rate is actually a bit higher than Holding. But in terms of duels won, aerial clearances, even crossing, passing, stuff like that. The success rate for Holding is so much better than Ben White. And for me, just on paper itself, I haven't seen that much of Ben White, and I will take the time to look at that. But on paper, it's no doubt in my mind that it's not worth a 50 million if we're going to get Ben White to play a Rob Holding position, unless we're gonna, transfer Rob Holding and get some money from that. That's not really the transfer that we should be looking for, in my opinion, people. The Ben White deal, he's a decent centre back, but he doesn't really push the needle for us any at all. He's not that much better than Rob Holding, in my opinion. Not that much better than David Luiz was the past few years for us. So really, what we're doing with this? Are we just building, the English contingent so that we can trade like Maitland, sorry, trade, but sign, transferring Maitland, Niles, Holding, Chambers? We need to have more transparency in terms of what's going on. We've said that we needed creative midfielders. You guys look at the whole of last season, especially the start of the season. We were begging for creative midfielders. That's why we're linked to the likes of OR and so on. But what happened to the OR link? There's no link to OR now. I know, Arteta does have a liking for Martin Odegaard. And that seems to be probably our priority, our highest priority is Odegaard. But my issue with that is that he's a Real Madrid player. Real Madrid going through a lot of stuff right now, so it's not really entirely sure if they want to keep Odegaard or if they're going to sell him, because they have like a surplus of players over there in Real Madrid. Actually, last time I read it, there's about 30-something players and it's only 20-something that can register. So there might be a chance that Odegaard actually is free up for Arsenal to get the signing or a loan deal. But for me, if it's possible, it has to be a signing. We can't be doing these loan deals with these players. We need to set up players for the long term. These young players, these good players, we need to set them up for the long term. We need to have them on our bill. They need to be our players. And that's what Arsenal need to get into. We've also been linked heavily. When we say heavier than Jada Kingdom. We link heavy to James Maddison, And for me, Maddison is that type of baller that I love. I'm a big Ozil fan. I have the number 10 on the back of my thing, on the back of my jersey. And I mean, that type of creative midfielder. But with James, he's a bit more defensively sound, in terms of tackling, success rate. He's actually had 8 goals and I think 7 assists this season, which is kind of in the Premier League, which is a little bit better than his last few seasons. So even though I don't know, for some reason I felt as if James Maddison, kind of underperformed this season. It seems as if he's right where he's supposed to be. He's just 24 years old, not that much older than Odegaard, but has so much more experience. He's both-footed compared to Odegaard, who is, very, very left-footed, but likes to, float over there on the right and work with Saka. But for me, Maddison would be a great free kick taker, a great corner taker that we could add to the team, with so much flair, so much creativity, finding the passes, finding these goals out of midfield that we need. That's just like, it would be big time to get James Maddison. I think his fee, though, is something around the 60, 80 million range. And honestly, we don't know how much money Arsenal are really playing with right now and how much money that they're actually going to be using, or that they actually have, up to use to get players. Do we have actually 100 or 200 million that is rumored that we have, or do we need to sell players on before we can even spend that? So I mean, there's a lot of things to touch on. I mean, these are the main links, as I said before. Ben White linked to us, and it seems that we're really pressing that deal. You guys, let me know what you feel about this Ben White deal. For me, it's a no-go unless this guy is going to play right back. And looking at his cross success rate, that's not who we need at right back. We're there cussing Bellerin about him crosses and stuff like that. That doesn't look like the type of guy that we should have in that position. So for me, Ben White deal is a no-go. Obviously, I wouldn't dislike having Odegaard, but my preference would be, if we are actually linked to Maddison and we are the big club that we say we are, that's the type of player we need to go. People need to stick them hands in them pocket. That's the owner. And let's get this moving. Smith Rowe and Maddison, those are creative type players that we can have. Smith Rowe doesn't have to start every game, but there's certain games we can see that Smith Rowe can play, in more of a midfield like that center midfield role, kind of where Jota used to play. That's possible for him, as well as the creative attacking midfield, as well as the left and right. So we have an adaptable player, we have a creative player in a Maddison, and these are the players we need to be looking for. We need to be looking for creative midfielders, CDM, especially somebody to replace Jota, who is linked to Roma right now. We need these. We need these more than we need centre backs. We have almost centre backs. We have Saliba supposed to be coming back. Gabriel, who had an awesome season. Mari, who played well. Holden, who played well. Our centre backs have played well. For me, there's no reason to be aiming for 50 plus million. Why we don't use that 50 million to get Basuma, which we have been linked to for however long. My issue is that it just kind of show you guys how Arteta's thinking is. He seems like to be on the same level of thinking of people before him. Like we obviously know what we as fans and we need in the team, and we need more steel. We need more defense, we need more steel in the midfield, especially if a man like Jota not gonna be there playing for us. And so me, is this links to everybody except Bissouma and this Lakanga guy, who does seem to be like those replacements. We need to see more links on that. We need to be more aggressive in sealing up the priorities for the team. And that's the thing. Arteta doesn't seem to be able to prioritize what this team needs. And for me, it's evident. We need a new center midfielder, somebody who's defensively sound, who can back up Partey, unless you're going to make Partey play that defensive position. Then you have to have somebody who is, more technically sound, who able to dribble a bit more like a Awar, more like a number 8 that you can pair with Partey, or you get yourself a Basuma to go with Partey, who can do the more box to box stuff, and then you have your creative midfield and Smith Rowe or Odegaard, or hopefully a Maddison. You know what I mean? Like these are the people that we need to be looking into. Midfielders, even I think a Locatelli from Italy we've been linked to. Like, this is the type of moves that we need to make. We don't need no wingers. We already have bad man like Pepe on the right, and we have Saka on the left. We're sound in those positions. Arsenal they definitely need to respond for what we need. Like, look at the necessity of the team, the priorities of the team, and stop these like weird transfers. Like, I don't know, people. The more and more I talk about this, you don't know how I get heated and things. But there's more time in the transfer window. And we're just hoping that the Arsenal do something. Do something for us and give us something to be excited about, to be happy about, because we need to make moves. We can't keep this same team. Our team is not good enough to be top 6 the way that it's constructed right now, with the manager, with the style of play. So we need to see big time moves. We need to take risk at this point in time. Ben White, to me, is not a risk. It's just a centre back. We need to take a risk. If you don't really true on Bissouma, that's the type of risk I want to take. A young player, midfielder, with tenacity, heart. Like, those are the things that I like. And my issue is it looking like Arteta don't like people who are strong-minded and strong-willed. Like, want to Guendouzi, want to those people that have heart, that actually play for the badge, and play for themselves, play with pride. That's what Arsenal need, players who play with pride. That's why James Maddison, to me, would have been an awesome pickup. Obviously, a dream would have been like a Jack Grealish, and Jack Grealish a player with soccer. But we need people who are strong, who going to be leaders. And that's hard to ask one person to do, but these are the type of players we need, and we're a big team, big side, and that's we can't settle for less people. And at the end of the day, I was just looking at those stats between Odegaard and our boy Maddison, and it's just no comparison. People, 0.26 goals per match for Maddison, while there's 0.07 goals for Odegaard. I know, granted, Odegaard playing for Arsenal, Maddison playing for Leicester, so it's very, that comparison, is kind of skewed. But at the end of the day, I'm telling you, people, Maddison both feet comfortable. You know what I mean? In terms of pass range of passing, they're about the same. Odegaard is creative, but Maddison have that too. He also have the power, the ability to strike outside the box. I mean, that's the type of players we need to be looking for, people. We need to be making these moves. We need to be more proactive. It can't just be looking at centre backs to replace a David Luiz when David Luiz wasn't playing for most of the season and our centre backs were decent enough. Want to hold in on Gabriel Saliba is there. He played well when he was unknown for France. Arteta needs to be able to be a young manager who is able to keep the young players in check, but also get the best out of them. Give them faith, show them, let them show them potential. And he hasn't done that enough. And I'm hoping that, this is the season that he does. And this is the season and transfer window that Arsenal, continue making progress. We made progress last season, last transfer window with the Partey deal. That's the type of business that I want to say. But we need to be quicker with it. It can't be on the last day that we're trying to make something happen. We need to be forcing people's hands. We see Aston Villa trying to even take transfers for Emile Smith Rowe. Them type of this thing there, that's the type of thing where you say, oh, you want Smith Rowe? I'm going to send in $100 million deal for Grealish just because that's the type of thing we're on. We have teams like Aston Villa try bad way up. That's not how we're dealing with. We have to get back to where we is the real gunners, the only invincibles. They know the thing set, but don't know. I think I already rambled on for too long. That's just the transfers that are linked into Arsenal. We have a lot of players that are supposed to be, transferred out and linked away. So I'll have another video for that, people. But thank you for checking with me. If you've been here with me for this long, please just give me a like, share it to your people. All things Arsenal. Let me know what you think about Ben White. Let me know if you think I'm crazy to even believe that we could get a James Maddison. Who do you think and what do you think we need to strengthen Arsenal at this point? As again I said, right back definitely needed. Left back substitute for Karen, who seems to be a bit more injury prone. Definitely needed. And that solid defensive midfielder and a creative midfielder. And then I think we can follow through. You know what I mean? Let me know what you guys feel. Leave it in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, and you're keeping it locked with the real Gonna League.